trying to verify something? Yeah, okay. That's all right. She's a state retiree or local retiree. Is it an elderly person? Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, hon. You're welcome.
Hey, buddy. Everybody ready for tomorrow?
I suppose. Bring your raincoat.
Oh, Lordy, yeah. Yeah. All righty. I'm gonna bring my electric box too because I got some. But I'll just tell our Brian can just put my electric back in it because I got a bunch of them multi plugs that come in handy.
What's that?
I said I'll probably end up taking my little electric box because I got several of those 30-foot multi outlet plugs for running lights, and I'll just tell them I'll just leave it with those guys and they can put it back in there. Hello. Yeah. So I'll get some on my way home. Oh.
Recording in progress.
I see your eyes.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure who's going to be joining us. I know some of the folks from Tuesday wanted to hop on again to just kind of better understand the process.
Mhm.
We'll make sure that we have ample time today to kind of talk through specifically the chat monitoring role for staff and also any remaining questions for board members who will be joining as presenters. But I know Rusty had a chance to spend some time with you yesterday as well.
We had a good day yesterday. We really did. These guys they're on it. The staff here in Raleigh, they're easy to teach and they were good.
If they could just bring their board members along.
Well, just so you guys know, I'm doing something right now I've never done before. I am on this Zoom call on an iPad because we had questions yesterday. I think I'm.
Gee, I have been all along.
I see.
Well, occasionally I do my phone.
Mm-hmm. Well, the one thing I did learn on the iPad is I can. Let me see if I can do this. There we go. I can put the background up on it.
You want to put it up on mine?
Well, the internet is a great place to start because I know there were some questions about getting the background up and specifically for folks on iPads. So
Yes.
Maybe that could be the first kind of topic we tackle.
It is a little bit different than a PC. This I can tell you because because I wanted to do it just like you did yesterday. I wanted to download the background and start from scratch. And the thing about the iPad is when you download it, it doesn't go into the photo folder. It goes into your downloaded folder. So you've got to be able to take that picture from your downloaded folder and put into your picture folder. From there, it's simple. It's basically the same thing. You can go to your background settings, which are on the iPad. If you if you click that, well, it's marked more on the iPad. It has background and effects, and you just click on that, and then it's the same way. There's a little.
You're looking on the basic iPad, because that's all I have.
Yes.
Okay.
On your video screen, if you look up there in the upper right hand corner, there's something that says more, and then there's 3 dots on it. Okay, that's what you would click. Yeah, you would click on that, and then right about 3 or 4 things down, it says backgrounds and effects.
I don't see that on mine.
When you
I
click
see
more,
Chat,
right,
meeting settings.
then minimize meeting,
Yeah.
and then right below that, what does it say?
Whiteboard.
It says what?
Whiteboards.
Whiteboards. Okay, then it's not showing up on your.
It says new beside that, so that
Well.
must be very new.
All right. Yeah. Hang on a second. Let me see something here. Oh, okay. That's mine. That's what that is. Now I can see everybody. I put it in gallery view for me. Then it may be the system that you've got, your iOS system that's on that iPad that's different, or we may need you to re-download the Zoom app and get the newest version of Zoom.
I don't think mine will download it. I have an older iPad. Let me see what happens, and I don't mean to.
No, you're fine.
Let me check, see what happens when I hit whiteboard.
Oh, whiteboard is something else. Whiteboard allows you to draw, play tic-tac-toe, and things like that with other people. I know exactly.
Oh, I don't play games.
Yeah. You don't. The whiteboard is for just doodling.
Okay. I didn't even know what that was.
Where are you located at? In what town?
Asheville.
And where?
Asheville.
Oh, you're on the wrong side of the state, dude. I was
I'm
gonna say-
on the right side of the.
I'm on the other side. I'm down in Moorhead.
Down from here.
I tell you what, let's do. Let me make sure that you have my phone number. I gave it yesterday, and what I want you to do is Tuesday. If you will call me on Tuesday,
Okay.
we will get together, you and I, and we will make sure that your tablet is the way you want it.
Okay.
All right?
Can
So help
you,
us take
can you,
Huh?
Would it help to take a picture of his iPad?
Well, yeah, I'll go through all that with him on Tuesday.
will you do just one thing and send me your best email? I mean, best phone.
I'll tell you what. Yeah. Let me pull up the chat, and I'll put it in the chat box.
Okay. And I'll write it down.
Mm-hmm.
And I see in the meantime, we've had a few other folks joining us, including some lobbyists. So this time is really a chance to just, for everyone to make sure they're comfortable and confident of how it will work for Celebration of Public Service Week in terms of the audience of participants joining via YouTube and presenters on Zoom. And because of scheduling, we kind of have 2 parts to this. One is for presenters, and I think the main thing you need to know, Rusty was just helping out with folks getting the background on their Zoom background. As a presenter, the main thing to know is that you will be entirely in Zoom. We do not want you to go into YouTube. We don't need you to go into YouTube. That will likely just complicate things. What we have done for each session is we have someone assigned, an NCRTEA staff member, to share over comments, questions that are coming in through the chat. So if you have a Q&A session, for example, they will share the questions that are coming in through the YouTube chat and share those as part of the Zoom chat. So you'll be looking out for the Zoom chat and participating on Zoom, but not necessarily going on YouTube. And then we'll spend some time, because I know staff also have questions remaining about exactly what that role looks like and what they'll be asked to do. And this session is really just to make sure that everyone is understanding the roles and also to get any questions that you might have from the tech side answered.
Hey, Carrie. I ain't seen her in a while.
Hey, I've got a question. Can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
I literally just got done interviewing a legislator, and I actually also just tried sending it, Laura, to you, and it bounced back to me because the file is too big.
Of course. Yeah, you need to put it up on do you have a Google Drive?
I do have Google. Yes, I do have Google Drive. I can do a shared.
Exactly. Just upload it to your Google Drive and then send the link. Share the link.
Okay, perfect. I'll do that.
That's great. That's exciting to hear. And actually, when you send those over to me, you can just include Rusty directly on those as well. But if not, I'll pass them along.
Rusty, what's your email?
It's very. I'll tell you what. I'll text it in here, and so everybody can have that as well.
Kari, what kind of equipment did you use to do your interview?
I use Zoom. So it was
Okay.
we were on it, and I just interviewed her.
Got it.
I gave her the background, so we both had the background. We both had on white. It was kind of funny. It looked like we played our outfits, which we didn't. But yeah, no, I think it actually worked out pretty well. I watched the part that I was most nervous about was the very beginning when I started talking, and I watched those first 30 seconds, and I think it's just fine, and it I don't want to say it got better from there, but it was much more of a conversation once we got past that initial introduction, so that's good.
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
I think that's sort of the cutting edge of where we're going to go in the future. This needs to be like all the time, you know.
Well, it's really, what's so funny about it is that when I'm watching TV and say Chuck Todd is interviewing such and such a person, whether he's in studio, that person he's interviewing is in studio or being videotaped, you can't really tell because we're watching it just like they're going to be watching this as if they're watching TV. So it's, to your point, I mean, it works out great. I'm going to hop on with my phone because I've got to, my daughter's homesick. I got to give her some food real quick. But anyway. But that was the one question I had. Oh, the other question I have is there's Laura, you sent an email a ways back, and it has Zoom links for each of the days. So if we're doing a live session, that's what you were talking about, right? Go to that Zoom link for that live session.
Correct. So there'll be Zoom links for each of the days, and in fact, presenters, I'm in the process of sending out individual calendar invites for each of the sessions. So if you haven't gotten those already, you will soon with the correct Zoom link for the day. If you have a pre-recorded session, then obviously you can miss that. You would need to actually get on Zoom.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's helpful. And if we hop on early, just so we're there, that's not obviously a big deal, right?
Correct. Actually, we are asking presenters to try to join about 10 minutes early. So the way that Rusty will have it set up is that, other folks will be in the Zoom room, right? I'll probably be in the Zoom even though I'm not presenting. There'll be a staff member who's that chat monitor who is just interacting with chat to make sure presenters have questions that are coming in from the audience. And Rusty will make sure that just the people who are actually presenting or speaking are being broadcast over to the YouTube. So don't worry if you join a little bit early. Just make sure that you mute yourself when you first enter, and if it's not your turn to present. But then if you have questions, you can interact with us in the chat around, when you're getting ready to begin. And I would say for that, when we're in the chat room of the actual day of celebration of public service, when we're in the Zoom room, just chat to everyone, right? Even if you're asking me a specific question, it's probably just easiest if you chat to everyone. In case I'm helping with someone else, we can all see the question.
But all that will be invisible to our watchers out there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And actually, Rusty can kind of show you exactly, broadcasting to YouTube and exactly how that would work. But the chat within Zoom is just for the people who are in the Zoom. That will not be broadcast to the audience. The YouTube chat is how the audience participates in the session. Okay.
And then, we as the lobbyists have one live thing and the rest of it is taped. So for that live one on Friday at like 10:30 or whatever time it is, who's going to be sort of the moderator in between the sessions, and are they going to introduce us? Do we need to introduce ourselves? How's that going to work?
So Brian Setzer is going to be sort of the MC of the week, and sort of, in between the different presenters, introduce folks. But certainly I would suggest that you introduce yourselves as well.
Okay. But we'll obviously be able to hear what he's saying before we start, so we can say what we need to say or cover something he didn't cover, correct?
Yes. So you will, in the Zoom doing that is also what he'll be using to make those kind of introductory and kind of transition remarks.
Okay. All right. Just so you guys know, just so you guys know, I've got my other 2 interviews scheduled for next Tuesday. And, I know Jack was putting in a call to the Wake County Commissioner. I was tied up today, so he's going to reach out to St. Hutchinson to see where that's at.
Okay.
And regarding the governor's proclamation, I did text Steve and Bryant right after I saw the meeting. I've not heard from him, but I also texted him last week when he had emailed us, and he responded right away. He was out of the office last week, so if I don't hear anything from him by tomorrow, like midday, I'll give him a call, or actually, what I probably will do is I'll call his executive assistant and talk to her just over that chat.
Okay, around the proclamation. Great. Well, I had sent in an email separately. I think the main question right now is on scheduling. I want to make sure we use this call to kind of get tech questions answered, but I think those are my main questions. It's, is there an actual proclamation, and then just trying to nail down the timing of like how many people you expect to interview, total time, things that you should plan on, et cetera.
One observation, it feels a little squirrely right now about the governor. If sooner rather than later, we should have a drop dead time where if it doesn't appear to be working, that we can bring other resources. There are others that you could come in and push something over the edge if we needed to, but not at the last minute. So just be aware of that.
And at this point, the lobbyists have secured, we have the video in hand, a message from the governor. So we will at least definitely be using that. And then there's another question of if there's a sort of official proclamation that we want to talk about.
And is that inclined to be a live thing?
It is a pre-recorded message from
All right. Okay, all right, thanks.
I want to make sure, Kathy and Chris, you're on the call, and you have sort of a special role that you'll be playing as being the chat monitors. So I wanted to make sure, I know Rusty, you spent some time with you yesterday, but to see where you may still have questions about your role and making sure that we have a little bit of time to answer those and that you feel comfortable doing that.
I guess I'm just going to be doing a copy and paste with somebody's name on it, putting it into Zoom, right? So whatever comes up on YouTube, I'm just going to copy and paste in Zoom.
Correct. So I think there's a little bit of sort of judgment of if we're getting 100 different questions in the span of 2 minutes. You don't need to copy and paste every single one. I would put in sort of, if you're seeing a question pop up 4 or 5 times from folks. But I think for the majority of the sessions, we're not going to be overwhelmed with chat comments. It's hard to predict at this time. So I would say, the most relevant questions is what you'd be sharing out to presenters. I think the other just really key thing to know is that you should be muted in Zoom the whole time, and you need to make sure that the sound is off on it. And I don't know if people have had a chance to read through sort of the guidance doc that I put together. Any questions that came out of that?
All that background information is really helpful. Thank you.
I believe I only have one active session, and that's on Friday, and I don't even remember what I agreed to. I'm sure I can go back and look at it. Things have been so busy lately.
I think you agreed to a $10,000 donation at the end of it.
Well, that's in mail, I'm sure.
I think actually, Bob, your session is on Thursday. It's from 1:30 to 2, and it's a making connections within your district. So it's for districts 1, 2, and 6 specifically. And I believe Daryl actually is following up with board members, and I think maybe even is trying to do. This is sort of the tech side dry run, just trying to get everyone together to make sure that everyone feels comfortable with the
I
content.
have a dry time. I just misspoke myself. It's Thursday.
Yeah.
And Tuesday.
And tomorrow, I hope to get out sort of the latest schedule to everyone, just so everyone has it for sure and knows exactly when and where you should be.
And the retirement one really is at 8 o'clock Friday morning.
The retirement one is not on Friday morning. So you're the session for HR directors becoming a HR Sherpa. I think is that the session you're talking about?
Yes.
So that is on Wednesday, and the one that you're a part of is at 1 p.m.
Okay, well, I got something confusing recently then, but I'll recheck. I thought the invitation had been moved to 8 o'clock a.m. on sometime. That was 11 your time, but 8 o'clock here. Anyway, we'll get it figured out before next week after next.
Okay, yeah, and if that's not the time, if you don't have it on your calendar at 1, please do reach out.
Thank you.
Kari and Jessica, I know you likely have pretty jammed schedules today, so I just want to check to see if you have any other questions around your presentation, and then you can likely hop off, and we may get into some more of the details around the chat monitoring and such.
Yeah, Jessica, are you good? I've got a question.
I'm good.
Okay, question. Lori, I know you sent out that email about timing and how long proclamations will be and all that other kind of stuff. So I guess I've got a series of questions. I have not had an opportunity to watch the video. I don't know what you said in the video. Did you say anything about a proclamation?
You do not mention the proclamation. The video is a little over a minute long.
Okay.
Recognizing public service, public servants, calling out, former public servants, retirees.
Okay. All right, and then, so I know you have a section for proclamations. How do you envision that going?
Well, I think. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, what's that gonna look like?
So originally, I had heard back. I don't know if it was from you or from Jackson, I have to look at emails, that you thought there may be 3 speakers who would be in that kind of opening session. So it would be the governor. I also had, let me just pull up the email to remind myself who else we had slotted in that section. I think you had said that Wayne County Commissioner Sid Hutchinson and Raleigh Mayor.
I think the last email I think I said was, we're gonna, there's a period where you're doing introductions. I am just like baffled about what's going on in this parking lot. I'm sitting here, can't move. They're taking cameras, selfies. I don't know what's going on. It's really weird. Anyway, I think the last email I said was we have about 5 to 7, and I use the term dignitaries, and we're still solidifying that list. We know the governor. We're hoping Sig. I think Marianne has confirmed. Jack's working with her on that. And then we've got a few other folks as well that we're trying to line up. Those we will give you a prioritized list of how they need to be ordered based on their, if you will, stature. Once we know everyone that's coming in. So they're gonna talk about public service, and actually, depending on what Marianne and Sig say, they might mention the proclamation. So my question is then, how do we, right after that, then do the proclamations? I mean, do we have someone read the proclamation? I don't know. I mean, I think logistically, because it's not live, it's a little challenging to have it be quite as dynamic as I think you were thinking it would be. So I'm just trying to get some ideas of Jessica. Do you have any thoughts on that? I mean, you know what might play well via a computer screen. So anyway, just want to throw that out there.
So that's good. I think I was kind of waiting for confirmation if the proclamation was definitely happening, but I think what we can do is, so Van will be giving sort of a keynote kickoff, and then I think he would sort of introduce the video from the governor and say, we have a special message from Governor Cooper. We would play the video, and as if as you said, it's hard to tell sometimes if someone's in studio or where they're joining from. So we would play the video full screen, and then I think we could have, if we have confirmed the proclamation, we can put it on the screen and read it aloud and sort of celebrate the proclamation, even if the governor didn't mention it himself.
I think the other proclamations, if those elected officials could actually read the proclamation as part of their message.
And respond.
Yes, sir.
That's what you would do on a DS, and this is a virtual DS, I guess.
So I'm sorry to take so much time on this one issue for the other folks on the call, but I took this down with the lobbyists for a little while, so we'd love to take just a few more minutes. Kari, I can't remember, I'm not sure, I think you weren't at the last lobbyist call, but I know you've seen this before. This is sort of how I have slotted in. I may have misunderstood, you kind of talked about the 3 people with proclamation, and then I thought there were 5 to 7 dignitaries coming after that would kind of make sessions, we kind of make into one session at 11:45, playing those pre-recorded messages. Does this still work? Because otherwise we would need to know ASAP to see if our other speakers could be flexible on timing.
What other speakers?
So at this 11 o'clock session, we have Dudley Flood, who will be presenting a public service award to an NCR GEA member.
Okay. So he's live apparently.
Yes.
I don't have a problem. I don't have a good answer for you right now because it will depend on what we hear from SEG and what we hear from Marianne, and if their videos talk about the proclamation.
Okay.
I mean, I think some of it might have to do with what they're actually saying. I mean, I think Roy Cooper could honestly, well, I don't know. I'm sorry.
I guess my next point is because it seems like we're not going to get an answer until like a few days before the event. But just in terms of the agenda and the timing is probably the most important thing I need to know of, like, can we make this schedule work? We would have, 15 minutes of folks doing proclamations, and then we would put the other videos in this 11:45 to 12:30 slot.
Mm-hmm. I can't tell you. I mean, I'm not a video production expert, and I don't mean to be snarky when I say that at all. Where I'm going with this is I can't tell Marianne, you've got exactly 3 minutes and you need to say everything in 3 minutes because everything is timed perfectly. Like it is on TV. So where I'm going with that. So that's not snarky at all. But you guys understand my point.
I do.
I think obviously we can tell them to stay within a time frame, but if there's extra time, let's say set row 5 goes from 11 to 11:30. Well, no, actually, let's say row 4 goes from 10:30 to 10:41. What are you going to do for those 4 minutes?
So
The theme is going to tap dance.
we do have breaks scheduled in throughout the day. So depending on the length of the break, right, we may just start, a minute early, the next section. Brian will make a transition, or we have slides that we're going to show during some of those breaks where we say, coming up next, at 11 o'clock, wait out, watch for this. That kind of gives people a chance who are sticking with us all day to, use the restroom or kind of take a break themselves. I think, Kari, I understand you can't, tell me to the minute. I think I really want to know is like, how many videos are we likely to have, and what is the general guidance you've given them? Have you told them 10 minutes? Like, have you given any general guidance on timing?
I've told them 3 to 5 minutes, I want to say.
Okay, and there are how many people that you're expecting to do videos?
I know you want to nail this down, and I can't stand the uncertainty either. It's going to be insane. I'm sorry that I'm asking these questions and I'm seemingly confused because when I'm looking at, and I'll get to your question. So we've got Brian, then we've got Van, then you've got what's called Proclamation of Public Service Governor. So where do you want the dignitaries to speak separately from the Proclamation of Public Service? Where are they on the agenda? I don't see them.
So right now the governor, we only have a 1 minute video from him. So I was thinking it would be in this same segment.
Okay. So, and then the next thing is an actual award being given out. Okay. So right now you've got 15 minutes, and to answer your question, we were thinking 5 to 7 dignitaries. We didn't really know what you guys were planning with the proclamation. Proclamation being a actual hard copy of a document, literally, unless we have videos coordinating all of that. To Jessica's point, hopefully we can get Marianne to speak. If we can get Marianne to speak to the proclamation and we can get SIG to speak to the proclamation, I do think it makes sense to do the governor. And then someone needs to state that there's the proclamation from the governor and maybe read it. I don't know, I'm talking out loud.
Yeah.
This is not my specialty. And then
Kari, I really do want to get this nailed down with you. But at the same time, I'm aware that we have like 7 other people on the call who were hoping to do the tech things. Is it possible that I could give you a call tomorrow and we can just like nail this down live?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but I should not be. I mean, yes, but I don't think I'm the best person to fully answer the question. So
Who is the best person?
well, I don't know. I mean, I don't do production video stuff for a living. We are, when I say we, me, Jack, Jessica, and Jessica, are you still on?
I am.
The 4 of us are on a Zoom call from 10:45 to 11:30 tomorrow. We need that time to video, but I think there would be time on that call to briefly talk about this because Jack's, like I said, Jack's been talking with Mary Ann, so maybe the best thing to do is hop on that call. We only have, I mean, we got to nail this out quickly because we got to get that video done as well during that time, and that will be 10 to 15 minutes. But to answer your question, we're thinking 5 to 7 dignitaries, including the governor, Mary Ann, and SIG, and then a few more.
Okay. And that does not include the legislators who will be doing videos for Friday?
Yes, but we thought, my recommendation to you in that email I sent you was to intersperse them throughout the week when you've got some downtime, if that works.
Well, I don't know if you saw my email reply, and actually in my email I kind of really, I have a bunch of targeted questions, which are really, I think, the remaining things. But because we have the days kind of set by theme, I was thinking we could intersperse them on Friday or do a session, like one session on Friday because that's the advocacy day.
Let's talk about it Friday. Go ahead, Jessica.
Well, so I think it would be more interesting to make sure that those proclamations are somewhat spread out so that it's just not a cluster. And also to have some kind of dynamic aspect of mixing in legislators with relevant content, I think would be very helpful.
I mean, the questions we're asking, the reason why Jessica's saying that is because the questions we're asking them are about, what do you want to tell, what are you most proud of as your work supporting retirees? Another question is, tell me what public service means to you, right? So it's not about how to lobby the General Assembly or anything like that. It's more about them being able to thank all retirees and current state and local government employees. But then also talk about why they're, why public services are important to them. So it's not really advocacy stuff we're asking them about.
Yeah. I think the important thing to know is that like the rest of the schedule beyond this work has been nailed down for several weeks. And so it's not going to necessarily be easy to shift things around and intersperse them throughout the week. I would love to find time to talk about this in more detail.
Yeah, I just as an outside observer in all of this, it's time to get this stuff locked down. Number one. Number two, I want to be sure that I misunderstood something in the previous conversation. I'm assuming that after we introduce this, the earliest thing done is a video from the governor and his proclamation. That can't be buried down with a bunch of local officials, I don't believe. So I'd like to hear somebody respond to that.
Absolutely. And we have already addressed this, that there will be protocol and speakers and videos will be introduced.
That we're losing, yes.
I know what she was going to say. I'll jump in.
Okay.
I mean, when we met a week or two ago, and then I emailed Laura. I mean, I explained this all in email, which is we would give the list of the dignitaries in the order in which they should speak based on their status, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never got that list. I know you were going to send it on Monday. Did it? Maybe I didn't receive it.
No, I think you received it, but we didn't put names in there because, as we've told you, we were very concerned. And I'm not saying that you would put something on the website, even though we told you not to, but we don't know who. I mean, we've got a list of like 8 or 10 people we've asked, and we don't know who all is going to accept.
Okay.
I mean, we've asked the governor, we've asked Marianne Baldwin, we've asked Dick Hutchinson, we've asked Congressman Greg Murphy, we've asked, I can't remember. But again, that's all. I mean, you can put the governor on the website. I think that's fine.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to be okay with the schedule we have. If you're not telling me that it doesn't work, and we will kind of slot it in from there.
so let's talk more about this because I know we're eating up everyone else's time, and we need Jack and Jackson on here anyway. So let's plan on talking on Friday. I don't know how much time we have to talk through this because we do need to get that video done because Rusty, I know you need this stuff. So let's talk on Friday, and we can talk through the best way to present the proclamation. Jack hopefully will by then have talked with Marianne and Sig about stuff. So hopefully we can hammer this stuff out.
Okay.
I mean, you guys all understand this, right? I mean, they wanted a proclamation 4 months ago. I don't know if you knew that. They requested 4 months. The reason why it's even being considered is because I had drinks with one of the governor's senior advisors, and he's helping me on it. He's been out sick for a week, so I'm not trying to push him too hard. And I know he's been pretty sick. So there's lots of moving parts with people who expect maybe much more time than we're getting on them. It's just the nature of working with elected officials. So we're doing the best we can. They started session. It's a lot to coordinate and manage.
Okay, well let's follow up tomorrow. I am free almost all of the day, so if you call me when is good for you after the lobbyists connect, or if you want me to join the time with the rest of the lobbyists, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, no, I'll send you the invite. It makes more sense for you to talk to all of us all at once instead of me. I don't feel comfortable carrying the message because we've all had different conversations. That's why we're meeting tomorrow to catch up on where's everything at, plus do the recording. So it just makes sense. And I'm going to invite you to the Monday meeting and the following Monday meetings because that's the best way to be able to have us respond and to hear what's going on in terms of updates. Because I did see your email today. I haven't actually even had time to read it.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, and part of it I think is that, you've been on some meetings and Jackson had been on others. They had told me they would get something to me on Monday of just like the list of potential speakers or a time estimate, which is really what I'm looking for. So let's follow up tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, we can give you ballpark stuff tomorrow.
Great.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Okay.
All right. I want to get back to the tech stuff, particularly board members, questions you still have, but also staff members. I know that, do we want to actually practice?
We did that yesterday in house with that. Yeah, I'm telling you, the guys here in this building, they've got it. They did phenomenal yesterday. We were doing test messages and they were copying and pasting. And if there was a question that they could answer, they would actually type the person, whoever asked the question, they'd type their name in first, answer the question so the person would know their question had been answered. If not, they were going to say question forwarded to the speaker.
Wonderful.
Yeah, these guys were amazing yesterday.
I know you had some questions too around, when you're not copying, pasting, and I have some kind of suggested things you could say at the beginning of the session just to welcome everyone. When you do feel comfortable directly answering a question to answer it or just kind of comment. on people's comments in the chat to keep the conversation going, and then just kind of thanking people for attending at the end.
Mm-hmm. And the board members and you guys, the presenters, like I said, you don't got to keep up with anything but the chat box in Zoom, because that's where it's all going to pop up right there. I know we had this question. I can pin a question if it's something that's been asked a bunch of times. I can pin it to the top to let you know that this one's been asked a lot. But normally, I'm in the same mindset as Laura, that I don't. Normally, there's not going to be that many questions on most of them. We will get some, I'm sure, when it comes to the healthcare issues and things like that. But most of the time, we should be limited on the questions. And like I said, you're not going to get every one of them, because we're not going to paste every one of them. If the same question keeps coming up and time again, we're just going to paste it the one time.
I wonder, can I ask a question? Just be sure I understand what I think you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get the questions from the participants in a separate channel of communication.
Yes, sir.
You're going to sort through those and forward over to us in our chat those questions we should answer. Is that it?
On the nose. That's it. That's exactly it.
Okay. All right. Good.
And I think a good thing to keep in mind as a presenter is if we're in like a Q&A session and you see an interesting question come in through the Zoom chat that one of the staff members has copy and pasted from the YouTube that came directly from an audience member, is just repeat the question.
Sure.
Just say, okay, we had a question come in from so-and-so. They asked, what's...
I like the immediacy of that.
And answer it, because if there's a lot going on in the chat, people may not see it and may not be aware of the specific question that you're answering.
And the staff here, when they copy and paste the question, they will be copying and paste the name of the person who asked the question. So you'll have all that information.
Okay. I have heard a rumor that Laura is going to come to God's country. That's true.
She's scared to leave me here by myself.
The rumors are true. After almost a year and a half, I'm finally going to step foot in the NCRGEA offices. I'm very excited. I'll get to meet everyone in person. And importantly, I will also be there for the celebration, just as another person, physically there, who can help out with any challenges that arise, or chat challenges, or whatever may come out.
I think the closer together we get are and all doing that, will give everybody a little comfort, I think. So thank you for doing that.
Yep.
I was on the session the other day, so Bob and Ben, y'all got any questions you haven't asked?
Now to get the background.
Okay. What kind of computer are you on? Are you on a regular laptop?
Yes.
Okay, a regular PC, right? Not a Mac.
Not a Mac.
Okay. Can you paste that link again with a background image on it? Laura's gonna paste an image in the chat box. So if you keep looking in the chat box.
Now, give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
While you're doing that, I'll tell Rusty I do have your phone and email.
Okay, fantastic. I put that up earlier. It's in the chat box. If anybody needs it, there it is.
And one other question, Rusty, while that's coming up.
Yes.
You're in this session next Thursday?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's where we'll get our final rehearsal for the particular session, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see, Laura, you sent the screen, right, the background?
Yep. So you would download that and save it
Yeah.
somewhere on your device, whether on the desktop or in
A
the file
folder, yeah.
system.
I didn't see
And
it.
then once you have that image saved within the Zoom window, where it says video and there's that little arrow, upward facing carrot.
Yep.
Go to choose virtual background. And then you'll probably see some options that are given to you, none, blur. On the top right, just above that, to the right, there's a little plus sign. Let me know if anyone is not following along, but you would click that, you would put add image, and then you would go to wherever you save the image. So whether that was on your desktop or whether it's in your documents, and you find the folder where you saved it, you'd open that up, and it should be added to the list of different background mounts. You'll be able to click on it and have that be your background.
I have that background of I've got the Celebration Public Service Hub. So what am I supposed to do with it now? You lost me along.
Okay. If you know where that file is though, that Celebration of Public, you know where it's located. Is it on? Okay. Then on your Zoom screen, if you look down in your lower left-hand corner, you see a camera, a little camera icon with a little arrow that's pointed up. Just click that little arrow.
Oh, it'd be nice if I saw it.
Well, hover your
Microphone.
yeah, it's right beside the microphone, and you may need to hover your mouse in that area to get it to pop up. But
Oh, no, I'm doing obviously because I don't have that. That's, maybe I
on your Zoom screen, on the Zoom screen itself.
You seeing us right now, Ben?
I see Mr. Mason, I see Kathy, I don't see anybody.
Okay, well,
I see the bottom of Chris.
okay, if yeah, down at the bottom, when a lot of times when you put your mouse there, you'll see a menu bar pop up.
It says to stop the video if I want to.
Well, no, right there.
There's a mic beside of it.
All right, that's the one I'm talking about. The one that you said stop the video, don't stop the video. But there should be a little up arrow right beside, right there in that same thing. If you click that, then you're going to get an option for background images. Look down your options. He's muted himself. You muted yourself.
Okay.
There you go.
Now I have select a speaker, test a speaker, audio settings, leave it on.
No.
I think you might be where it said mute. You want to go back to where it said stop video. It should be just to the right of that.
Okay, let's see what that one is. Select a camera, choose a virtual background.
There you go.
One.
Yes.
Nice.
Now, you should see yourself right below you on the right-hand corner. There's a little plus sign. Click that.
Add image.
Add image. And then you just navigate to where that file is.
Oh, I wonder if I can export it a little bit.
if you downloaded it, unless you downloaded it to your desktop, it may be in your download folder.
That would be very nice. Need from Alex. Sorry to take up your time.
You're fine.
I am incompetent in this role.
While Ben's working on that, once we're done, I want to ask a question about our publicity efforts and exactly how we're reaching out to people to sign into these programs. I don't want to do it till Ben's finished.
And reminder.
It would be right before hell freezes when Vince. Maybe that's it. Maybe. Choose a back. Catastrophic failure.
That's not good.
Oh,
I'll tell you what happened to me, Ben, when I tried it. I found I had to go back to Laura's link again, click on it, and save it to photos right there on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can pull it, go to your photo file and pull it out. And of course, I have a Mac, so I have
Yeah, and that it's different with a Mac. You're absolutely right. 'Cause the software looks in the Mac photo for any images, and it won't find it in a document folder.
Lenovo is not very happy.
Lenovo, I've got one sitting beside me over here.
Okay, personal.
How did it say here? Desktop.
Personal.
That's compared to stop.
Catastrophic failure. So where do I get back to?
Ooh, that's not a good word.
That's bad. That's bad.
You're gonna give him a heart attack.
Oh, it says blur.
Okay, you're back on the background settings. Has the image appeared in that box yet?
Well, it was before the catastrophe.
Before.
Would it help if you work with Ben? Right now, the pressure on Ben is that 9 people are watching him go through this.
Yeah, Ben. I tell you what, bud. I'll call me this evening after 5 o'clock, if you can. Just write down my phone number there, and we'll get together and one-on-one, and we'll get it done.
All right, where is your phone number?
It's in the chat box. I tell you what, you got a pencil or pen handy?
I certainly do.
All right, 252 261 2018.
After 5.
Yes, because I got to drive from Raleigh back to the coast, and
All
all right.
right. Thank you.
No problem. I don't mind a bit, buddy.
Laura, can you talk a little bit about our publicity, how that's going? Does anything else need to happen?
So publicity has happened in a few ways. So the website is now fully updated with all sessions besides some of the advocacy and legislator sessions that are still being worked out. Multiple email messages have gone out. It was in the newsletter, and Paula is also regularly posting on social media. What we're doing is kind of spotlighting different sessions, saying, don't forget about this session on Tuesday or this session on Thursday. So not necessarily for the full celebration, but with the hope that someone checks out a session that is of interest to them, clicks on the link website and sees the other sessions as well. And I believe there's another full email going out this week as a reminder about the celebration overall. A reminder to register if you have not yet.
So if we're sending that by email, I think right now we have about 20,000 email addresses. Is that about right?
That I believe someone else may have a more updated number, but
Yeah. Another example that sort of reiterates the necessity of our getting email addresses. Because we're missing 40,000 of our members who won't get the email reminders and whatever, which makes it really hard. So we've got to take some action on that. At the end, I want to ask one more question, but Laura, you do whatever you need to do to finish your job there.
well, this time is really for you all more than it is for me to make sure that everyone feels comfortable. See if you have any questions remaining about what you're being asked to do as either a presenter or as sort of someone who's in the chat and supporting that way.
Laura, I agree with Van. We had our Area 1 meeting yesterday, and out of the people who had promised me they would join, we had about 20%. Admittedly, we did not know the date when we first asked some of them. But I think repetition on our email is important.
Yeah. Yeah, so if for folks that we have their email addresses, they are certainly getting lots of repetition, lots of reminders. To Don's point, it's the folks who don't have their email that, certainly they got the newsletter and a full update there, but they're not getting quite as many reminders over time.
I'm going to ask one more question that may be uncomfortable for people, and I was a little concerned that there appears to be a lack of urgency on the part of some people who are having to produce part of the programming here. And I'm kind of curious, what can we do to increase that sense of urgency? And we can't do this at the last minute. And I just feel like some people don't seem to feel a sense to get this done. Is that fair, or is that just misunderstanding?
It's fair.
It's fair.
Dan, what do you think?
I think they need to get a search session together quickly and tell folks when this stuff's going to be.
Yeah. So they're going to meet tomorrow, I believe, right?
And they may not be able to get high-ranking and self-received high-ranking government officials to get that substance together. Somebody needs to be motivated to try it.
Yeah. So I think the meeting with lobbyists tomorrow is really important, and we probably need to do a little planning outside of that. I know they have stuff on their agenda, but I can't think of anything really more urgent than getting this locked down. And I just feel, I want to be sure that I'm accurate about that and not being unfair.
No, we're pushing pretty hard the last few weeks of, we really do need to get this on the schedule. We need to get this nailed down. And I keep being told tomorrow or Monday, and it hasn't happened yet. But I'm, know, we're about a week out now, so
I can tell you this. I can tell you this. Me and Laura have talked about it several times for several weeks about getting the material in, and I've offered whatever I can do to come help make it as easy as possible. And it is what it is.
And can you call Jack?
Yeah, I'm gonna call Jack in a few minutes, matter of fact. But for those of you who've ever seen Larry the Cable Guy, there's a word for this. It's called get her done.
The name of my nephew's trucking company is Get Her Done.
Okay.
well, we are going to get it done. We'll get
Well,
it done.
I'm not criticizing y'all. You got your stuff together. It's just people feeling it. They got to get their stuff together now.
Yeah.
Well, I felt like there was a perceived flexibility remaining, and I don't perceive that to be correct. I think Laura and folks have got this thing nailed,
And that's right.
others need to get in their slots.
That's right.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, as far as a 4-month notice for the governor, we've offered 3 or 4 times. There's the normal channels, and there's the channels for people who donate a lot of money to the governor. And there's several of us who do that. So to pretend that we can't get it done through normal channels when there are ways to get attention to it, but it's a little frustrating that they're not calling on that. And I fear they're going to come up at the last minute and not have some of this done using the excuse that they really needed 4 months.
Yeah, oh, be
I will tell you, I will not be a happy camper if that happens.
I can see that in your face.
Yeah.
I
That was all I could do to keep my mouth shut.
was kind of proud of you.
Van,
Or,
I don't know if my friend Nelson Cole gives a lot of money, but he does seem to be able to get attention, and he is one of our members.
yes,
So if you want me at some point to reach out to the former representative, I would be willing to try to see if I can.
knowing that, when we meet tomorrow with them, if we continue to get this sort of lack of aggressiveness on it, then I think we maybe need to find some alternative routes to prod it more. And you can let Ben know, or me, or others. Plenty of our members, who know Roy Cooper very well.
Well, and we do, we have a video now, so the governor will be a part of it. I think it's more just some of the other dignitaries that they're talking about.
Well, like who's going to read
I
the
think
proclamation?
they're working on it, and they have requests out. It's just been a lack of communication back to me around what that's going to look like.
Well, is the governor going to read his proclamation, or is somebody else going to do it? And yes, what?
Yeah, that's what we need to figure out. I was under the
I would
impression
be
it would
shocked.
be the governor, but I got the video today, and that's not a part of it.
Yeah, I would be shocked if he personally would pass up the opportunity to read that proclamation about public service. It's just not getting to him. I'm glad they're having a drink with somebody, but I'd rather than get a crap done. So.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I do need to hop off. I can make someone else the host so that others can stay on if needed.
I'm off my rant now. I'm sure other people may have questions. Hey, I see Kathy behind the background. Good job, Kathy.
Yeah. Oh, and Chris, yeah.
Good job.
Rusty,
Yes.
when can I talk to you about getting this on my iPad?
I tell you what, you can do the same as later on. I've got to drive from Raleigh to
After
Jacksonville. So after 5, matter of fact, let's make it after 6 so I don't get in a car wreck trying to get home. Make it after 6 and call, and I'll be home with my computer and we'll make it happen.
It may be a little later than 6.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
It won't be late.
That's fine. They're putting in a pergola and a patio at the house, so I got nothing to do.
You got to earn money to pay for it.
You ain't wrong. They-
You need to test it out with drinks once it's.
there you go. All right, guys, I appreciate everything. I'm probably going to come back up here next week with the staff here in the building to run through again and make sure everybody's real comfortable with everything. And I'm going to go out there and talk to them in just a second. But we're going to make sure that this end of it, we're going to be good.
Thank you, guys.
All right. I'll see you guys later.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Well,
Good Lord. No, it's Carrie. She's I agree. I will. What? Hey, buddy. Hey.
So I finally got somewhere where I got.
Well, good.
Hey, so, anyways,
Yeah.
better at it than I am. You're gonna be an expert. I'm gonna have to come and ask you for. That's exactly right, I had to write that on my piece of paper. Because I said the same thing, I said, it's not going anywhere, you have to do that. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Like the normal setup for there. I got you. Right now I'm in Raleigh. I'm fixing to head home. I'll be. Yeah, an Obey 40. I've got an Obey 40. I've got a ADJ controller that's really good. Wasn't planning on it, no. Yeah, yeah. You know what? I wanted to bring my trailer down to the warehouse. Yeah, I wanted to bring my trailer down to the warehouse today, this evening when I get home, and I'll just put both of those things in the truck. Okay? Right. Yeah. Yeah. I got you're you got it, buddy. Oh, wow. Yeah, I will, I was gonna take my trailer down there this evening anyway, so I'll put one in that van.
Yeah, that'd be great. And
Yeah, yep. I'll make sure if it's not, you got an adapter.
okay, very good. Okay, well, you'll be that one. It'll save me a bunch of grief this weekend.
All right, you got it, buddy.
All right.
Yeah, man. Talk to you later. Jeez. I don't got nothing going on is my problem.